Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel, and today I am going to give you my top 5 tips for starting a reselling YouTube channel in 2024. Alright, so yes, a few of you guys asked me to make this video and I thought it could be kind of fun. It gives me a chance to reflect on my own YouTube journey, and if you want to see more content about YouTube and the behind the scenes of creating a YouTube channel after you finish watching this video, do definitely let me know down below and I am happy to make that content for you. So this video will kind of cover my tips for starting a reselling YouTube channel, but hopefully it will also just allow you to kind of determine if you do even want to start a reselling YouTube channel. In my experience, having a YouTube channel is super rewarding. That's why I do it, but there are certainly cons as there are to doing anything. And I want to be very realistic with you guys so you know what you're getting into if you do decide to start a reselling channel. And I also did ask on my community tab for my fellow reselling YouTubers to kind of give me their advice, their highs and lows. So I'll definitely incorporate the points from them in here as well, so it's not just my opinion. But I actually planned this out, you guys. I sat down and I kind of consolidated my thoughts as well as the other YouTubers into 5 main points. And so my number one point, my number one tip is to know your why. So lovely Heidi from Restyled Secrets said, know why you're doing this. If you don't enjoy thinking up ideas, recording, or editing, you either won't last or you won't have fun. And I totally agree with Heidi, and I'll talk more about this later, but I feel like a lot of people start YouTube, and honestly myself a little bit included, with the hope that it will be a nice little side hustle, meaning that you will make some money from your efforts. But hear me right at the beginning, if you only want to have a YouTube channel to make some side money, it's not going to work out for you. Like Heidi said, you either won't last or you won't have fun. And if you are interested about the money side of this, definitely stay tuned because I'm going to tell you exactly how much money I have made over 4 years on YouTube. So not everyone's why is going to be the same. Just a real brief background on my own YouTube experience. I actually started YouTube not as a reseller. I kind of came in as like thrifty lifestyle. I had gotten into thrifting. I really enjoyed it, but I also just kind of made random videos, made videos about whatever I wanted. And as I made more and more thrifty videos, one, I quickly learned that I could not just keep thrifting for myself. I did not have that much space and I was spending a lot of money thrifting for myself. But also, as I was making more thrifty content, more thrifting YouTubers were showing up in my feed, and along with people who just thrift for themselves, resellers were also popping up. And I guess I knew about reselling. I knew people like sold stuff on eBay, but I didn't know too much about it. And I started watching these videos and I realized, wow, that seems like so much fun. It's going to allow me to thrift, but also make some money. And it also could be the direction my channel goes in. Now, over the last 4 years, I've kind of gone in and out of reselling content. Like I said, I did start more thrifty lifestyle. I did that for about 1.5 years. I did not see very much growth at all on my channel. It did take me 2 full years to get monetized. But then even when I did start getting ThreadUp boxes, I started selling, I still wanted to make other content besides reselling. And so I just did a lot of both. But when you don't niche down very well, as I didn't, it definitely hurts your channel. I was getting people subscribing for one video and then I would put up something different and they wouldn't like it, so they would unsubscribe. So my channel was very stagnant for a long time. And it wasn't really until this last year, honestly, really the last season, that I decided, okay, I really have to just stick with reselling. And I ended up creating a whole nother channel last year called Cozies and Classics. That channel is much more booked themed, but it is a nice place for me to put like my vlogs and just more lifestyle content. It works much better on that channel than on this one, I think. So yeah, I've been on here for 4 years, but I have not been strictly reselling. And the biggest thing that I have learned over that time is pick a niche and stick with it. And if you really want to create different content, I think it is better just to create a full other channel for that content. So my why was really that I wanted a creative outlet. I really enjoyed watching YouTube. I've watched YouTube for pretty much as long as it has existed, and I had wanted to do this for probably 5 years or so before I actually got started. And I didn't start for many reasons, mostly because I was just busy with other things, but also I just really had a lot of fear behind it. I was afraid of putting myself out on the internet where people can judge you, and we'll get into that later. But truly, starting a YouTube channel was the best decision I've ever made, and I love, love, love filming, I love editing, I just love the whole package. So that's my why, much more than the money side of things. However, if you are not someone that really cares that much about the whole editing process and stuff, that's okay. Maybe you just want to share your reselling knowledge with others. Maybe you like watching haul videos and you want to share your own. Maybe you want to make connections in the reselling world. That's okay. You don't have to be like a creative genius kind of person to have a YouTube channel, I think especially in the reselling niche. And if you're overwhelmed with the thought of how do I even film? What equipment do I need? That brings me to my next point, which is start with what you have. So when you're starting out, and really at any time while you're on YouTube, you don't need to have a fancy camera. You don't need to have a really good microphone or a big light or a designated filming spot or expensive editing software. You don't need to have really anything. And I think that's a big reason why I do really like YouTube, because most people's videos, and especially most videos that I enjoy watching, they're just normal people doing normal things. They're in their homes. Things are not like TV movie quality, and I like that. It's kind of like watching other people's home videos. So if you want to start a YouTube channel and you don't have anything besides your phone, the great thing is that's really all you need. iPhones actually have really great cameras nowadays. I know other companies have even better cameras than the iPhones, so you can very easily film a great quality, a great picture video just on your phone. Things like lighting and microphones are gonna make your quality a little bit better, so maybe before you even want to invest in a camera, if you feel like your phone microphone is not that great, I would recommend spending a little bit of money on a good microphone. Also, I do use a ring light because I do not have very good lighting in my house at all. I would say ideally, if you have good lighting in your house, honestly, just use the natural light. That looks better, I think, in a lot of ways than the ring light. But yeah, that's something that I struggle with in my current home, so the ring light works fine for me. So you want the visual to be pretty good and you want the sound to be pretty good. I do think those things are important. But at the same time, you don't need to wait around for them. Just go ahead and start with what you have. Also, when it comes to editing, I think it really depends on the niche on YouTube. As I said, I got into YouTube because I really enjoy the whole process. I enjoy writing down my ideas. I enjoyed writing this kind of script. I'm enjoying the filming process right now, and I'm gonna enjoy editing it later. But if you are someone who just really wants to share your reselling knowledge or your hauls or whatever with other people on YouTube, you wanna just make the community, and you really hate the idea of editing, you definitely don't have to edit. I know there are some really successful people, specifically in this reselling niche, who really don't edit their videos at all. They don't have crazy backgrounds, they don't have any words on the screen or anything like that, and they are successful. Now, I don't think that does work in every niche, but I think in one like this, where people are mostly watching videos for content, you can get away with less editing, but you have to know yourself, and for me, I've gotten better over time, but I certainly misspeak all the time. I like to pause, collect my thoughts before I say something, and I'm cutting all of that out in the editing process. And even though I've been on YouTube for 4 years and I do enjoy editing, I still only use iMovie, which is a free editing software if you do have Apple products. It's very simple, and I will by no means say that I am that great at technology, and it works super well for me. In this next year, I really do want to upgrade to Final Cut Pro, which is pretty hefty at $300, but you only have to pay that one time. And I know that is an editing software that a lot of people people use here on YouTube. So yeah, I've been here for 4 years and I am just now gonna start paying for an editing software. But all of this goes along with my next point, which is do what works best for you. So of course that goes for the whole filming and editing process, but it also goes for the kind of reselling content that you want to make on YouTube. I follow some people who literally only do unboxings. I follow McThriftsy, you guys probably follow her too, and her formula is like haul and then ship with me. That's kind of the only type of videos that she makes. Other people like to do a lot of what's sold and they talk a lot about the finance side of reselling. Other people might do more day in the life type vlogs. So there really are many, many different ways that you can approach your reselling channel, and you can always switch up your content whenever you want. Because I do this mostly for the creative side of things, and I have come to really enjoy reselling in the community. I really like to do a variety of content. I think I would just get really bored if I only did one type of video, and I do have even like a couple different places that I film. I'll like film here, which this is just a corner of my living room, and then you guys probably also know that I film mostly like big hauls and stuff on my leather couch with the nice brick wall, which is actually real brick. It's not wallpaper. I think a lot of people think it's wallpaper. Sometimes I'll even film on my bed. I think it's just nice to kind of switch up the angles every once in a while, but I do like to film all different kind of content. I don't talk too much about the finance side just because I am a very part-time reseller. I like to send out deals all the time on my items, so I feel like I'm not the best person to tell you like how much you can expect to get for a certain item, because I am willing to take a lot of offers and I don't make nearly as much as other resellers. And that's something I'll add to actually, that do not feel like you need to be like this huge full-time reseller who's making 6 figures to be qualified to have a reselling channel. I think I can speak for most of us that we like to watch people for different reasons. I definitely do watch certain people with a lot of reselling knowledge to get that reselling knowledge, but I also watch other people because I like their hauls, I like them, I like their personality, and hopefully that's, you know, why people stick around watching my videos, not because I am some huge top reseller, but because I am pretty real, and I think I put a very realistic amount of part-time hours into my business that maybe other people can relate to. So if you're thinking about starting a reselling YouTube channel and you're trying to decide what content you want to make, just think about what you feel most comfortable with. Maybe you do feel more comfortable just kind of sitting as I am, and that's pretty much it. Or maybe you do like the idea of doing more vlogish content. And just know, if you do not feel comfortable being on camera, but you still want to have a channel, you can still do that. You could film in such a way that it might be a camera looking down at items that you have thrifted, or maybe you are doing a come thrift with me and you only show the items in the store and never your face. So there are lots of different options, and truly do what works best for you. Okay, now we get to our 4th point, and this is kind of the saddest point, but I want to be very real with you guys about what you are getting into when you do start really any sort of YouTube channel. And this is also a very common theme from what other reselling YouTubers had to say on my community post. And it really sums up to prepare to be disappointed. And you can be disappointed in a lot of different ways here on YouTube. But for me and what I wanted from YouTube, I would say my biggest disappointment over the last 4 years has truly been how slow I've grown. Every once in a while, I'll get a surge, but for the most part, it's a slow growth here on YouTube. And I think especially when you are doing something pretty specific like reselling clothing, obviously that's not going to be something like Mr. Beast where millions and millions of people are going to watch your content. It seems like some of the most successful people in the reselling niche, they might only have around 50,000 subscribers or so, but just compared to other niches, 50,000 as the high end is not really that great. I see many, many more people who are sitting 10,000 subscribers and under, and even more who are 1,000 subscribers and under. So this is not a completely scientific study, of course, because as I said earlier, I did not start as a reselling channel, but it did take me personally 2 years to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you don't know, in order to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, but then you also have to have 4,000 public watch hours. So for me, I had already hit the 4,000 hours before I got my 1,000 subscribers. So pretty much as soon as I got my 1,000 subscribers, I was able to get monetized. But for other people, I know it often is flipped. And this is where we will talk about the money, because I really want to be real with you guys, because I think a lot of people say, oh, you don't make much money on YouTube. But what is not much money? Everyone kind of has a different idea of that. So in my experience, I can only, of course, speak for myself. In the last 4 years, 2 years of being monetized, so really 2 years, I have made, actually pause for a second. Think in your head, you don't have to comment down below if you don't want to, but think in your head, what would you think is a reasonable amount to get paid from making YouTube videos quite consistently for 2 years? The grand total of how much I have made while on YouTube is $1,645. I don't know about you, but that is not a lot. When I think about all the hours I have put into filming, editing, thinking of video ideas, yeah, that's not a lot. As a very part-time reseller who puts, I would say, 8 hours or less into my business every week, that's a pretty low average month of reselling for me. So a pretty low month of very part-time reselling is about the same as what I have made in 2 years on YouTube. So you can see why I've said that you really cannot start YouTube for the money. Now, how people really are able to make more of a living off of YouTube is, of course, as you get more subscribers, you're probably going to get more views, and you are paid based on views. But really, it's the sponsorships that allow people to be able to make a solid amount on YouTube. And from what I can tell, it seems like most people do not really get paid sponsorships, where companies are literally like gonna send you a check for talking about their product until maybe around 15,000 subscribers or so. Now, you might see people who have less than that, especially if it's less than like 5,000. They might be talking about a company, they might be talking about a product, and they might say it's sponsored. In reality, I don't really consider that sponsored. That is likely more of a gifted situation where a company is gonna send you their product or let you use a service or something for free in exchange for you talking about that. So they're not paying you anything, they're just letting you get something for free. So I have probably gotten 15 to 20 of these offers over the last couple of years. Most of them are from like crappy, sketchy looking companies. I have gotten a few legitimate things that I did consider, but I just really don't like the idea of talking about something without getting paid, which sounds kind of crappy, I know, but really it's more of, if these different companies continue to get small YouTubers to basically do work for them for free, to do marketing and advertising for them for free, they're not going to be as likely to pay bigger YouTubers in the future. And when you think about how little it costs a lot of companies to make their product, they're basically getting free advertising, and that just really does rub me the wrong way. I would rather just kind of hold out until I can get some true paid sponsorships. So yeah, if you're thinking like, oh man, these YouTubers are making all this money, most of us here in the reselling niche are not really making that much money from YouTube. And Amanda Pruitt, one of the things that she commented on my post was that she didn't realize how little, all capitals, little, you make when you first get monetized. It's a lot of work to get to that point for real, and seeing that first check was clown emoji. And talking about other types of disappointment, Alicia from Murrayed Life said, "Be prepared for the anti-reselling comments. LOL." Now, Alicia, she does very well here on YouTube. What's up, Alicia, if you're watching this? So of course, as you get bigger and bigger on YouTube, more randos are gonna kind of stumble across your videos, and they might not know anything about reselling at all, and they're gonna comment some nasty things on your video. Alicia also does make a lot of shorts, and I think shorts compared to long form content are pushed more to just kind of like random people rather than people who do actually watch reselling videos. And definitely correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, but I think she does get more negative comments on her short content. And Amanda said again, "Tough skin is a must. People are keyboard warriors and sometimes downright mean. I'll never understand people taking the time to say things like, 'I don't like your voice,' and you're stealing from the poor, which is a very common complaint from people who don't like people who resell. If you don't love someone's videos, just keep scrolling. I've had to learn to not retaliate how I really want to. Yeah, I think the biggest thing to remember is that these people are just mean people, and try really hard not to take it personally. This is an area that I feel like I've really grown in, and having a YouTube channel kind of forces you to grow in this way. The people who are commenting these things probably don't know anything about reselling. They definitely don't know you personally at all, and they're just hateful people on the internet that really have nothing better to do with their lives. And then Lindsay said a difficulty that she has here on YouTube is the pressure to make content when you're not really feeling it. Yeah, it can honestly be very tough to film when you don't feel like it. And what I've kind of tried to do over the last couple years is, instead of like forcing myself to record when I don't really want to, which is honestly more days than when I do want to film, I try to film maybe a couple videos in one day and save the editing for when I am kind of not having the best mental health day. And I am personally a very introverted person by nature. I know it's a one-way conversation here, but I promise I am naturally extremely introverted, and I don't like being in big crowds. I really do like just having one-on-one conversations or just small group conversations. But all that to say, I do get very tired when I do film because I am talking so much and I'm trying to speak well and everything. And yeah, I certainly have my fair share of bad days where I just cannot be bothered at all to be on camera. So it can be quite tough when you are trying to keep a schedule. And as I said, I think you kind of just learn your own rhythm over time, and I would recommend filming when you're in the best place to film, and then editing when you're maybe not. And the more and more you film, the more and more you're on camera, the more comfortable you're going to be. So just know that I am extremely comfortable here on camera. I chat to the camera like it is just another person. It really doesn't bother me at all anymore. But when I started out, I remember feeling really uncomfortable. And when you know your editing style, I feel like that makes it easier to film. Like when I first started out, I felt like I needed to say everything perfectly the first time, or I had to like start over. But no, I've learned you can just pause and then you can cut out the dead space when you're trying to figure out what you want to say next. But let's not talk about like the more disappointing side of YouTube anymore. I want my last point to be a positive one because overall this has been a very positive experience for me. So my last point is to prepare for unexpected benefits. So as I've mentioned a few times, I really did start YouTube because I wanted to create, and I didn't think much more about it beyond that, honestly. I never really realized how nice it can be to just have this community. I love seeing you guys pop up in the comments. If you comment for a while and then you disappear, I worry about you, I pray about you, so just know that. I also think it has, of course, given me skills like editing and filming. I think I speak better than I used to because I have to actively try to speak well while I'm on camera. I've been able to have some really lovely conversations. I've been able to learn so much from you guys when you do comment on my videos. I think I can take criticism a lot better than I could at the beginning. And overall, it really just has been such a positive experience. Of course, as with anything, there are going to be negatives, but I truly would not still be creating here on YouTube if I did not really enjoy it. And just know, if you are someone who creates content on YouTube, reselling or otherwise, know that I'm proud of you because most people cannot stick with this. And I never think that I'm super talented at anything, but I know that I have a really good work ethic. And if you're on YouTube, you're a hard worker too, because there are not a lot of monetary rewards for most of us. And I think when you do put so much work into something without a financial reward, that really does say a lot about you as a person. So I'm proud of you, and I'm also proud of anyone who is considering putting themselves out there on the internet because it can be very difficult. It does make you vulnerable to mean comments, but it really is ultimately so rewarding. But all right, I blabbed on more than I wanted to, even with an outline. So I hope this was helpful to you guys in any way. And if you do have any more questions for me, definitely don't hesitate to leave them down below. I can always do a part 2, or I can just answer your questions in the comments. And if you like this video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. You know, it really does help my channel out a lot. But thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.